Rain hit the rusted roof of my apartment like an endless reminder of everything I'd lost. I stood there, staring at the half-packed suitcase by the door. Lena's perfume still hung in the air, sweet, sharp, and final. "Ethan," she said quietly, her back turned to me. "I can't do this anymore." I blinked, trying to process the words. "Can't do what?" My voice cracked. "Live with me? Or live without money?" She sighed, the kind of sigh that came from months of bottled frustration. "You know, it's not like that." "It's exactly like that," I said. "We've had nothing before, and we made it work. You told me my dream mattered." Her eyes flicked toward the window, avoiding mine. "Dreams don't pay rent, Ethan. Passion doesn't keep the lights on." I took a step closer. "So, that's it? You're leaving because I'm broke?" She turned then, mascara streaked under her eyes, but her face was cold. "Because you're stuck. I've waited, supported, believed. But I can't keep watching you fail." The words hit harder than I thought possible. "Fail?" I whispered. "You think that's what this is?" "I need stability," she said, grabbing her purse. "I need a future that isn't built on maybe someday." "And what about love?" I asked, forcing a laugh that didn't sound human. "Does that not count for anything?" Her silence was answer enough. I stepped closer, desperate but proud. "I can't promise you success tomorrow, but I can promise I won't quit." Lena shook her head. "You keep saying that, Ethan, but promises don't fill an empty fridge." I clenched my jaw. "You're leaving me for a full fridge." Her lips trembled, not with guilt, but irritation. "You twist everything." "No," I said quietly. "I just see things for what they are." She glanced toward the door, then at me. "You'll understand one day." I forced a smile that hurt more than any wound. "No, Lena, you'll understand." The silence stretched between us like 1,000 broken vows. Then she whispered the final cut. "Love doesn't fill your stomach, Ethan." I don't remember how long I stood there after she left. Only the sound of her heels, fading into the rain. The same heels I once bought her when things were better, when she believed in me. I sank onto the couch, staring at the business proposal on my laptop. The cursor blinked at me, mocking my failure. Maybe she was right. Maybe love wasn't enough, but as I stared at her contact on my phone, thumb hovering over the call button, something inside me hardened. I didn't call. Instead, I whispered to the empty room, "You'll regret walking away." The apartment felt colder than usual. The rain outside became my only company. "Ethan, you okay?" My neighbor, Jake, knocked from next door. "Yeah," I lied. "Tired?" He hesitated. "She left." I nodded. He sighed. "You want me to grab a drink with you?" "Might help." I shook my head. "No. I think I need to feel this." He gave me a sympathetic look before disappearing down the hall. I turned off the lights and sat by the window, watching the city lights blur through the raindrops. Her words echoed, louder than thunder. "Dreams don't pay bills. Love doesn't fill your stomach." Maybe she was chasing comfort. I was chasing purpose. I thought of all the nights she stayed up with me while I coded. All the coffees she made when my eyes burned from sleeplessness. That woman was gone now, replaced by someone who wanted guarantees. The irony was, I used to pray for her happiness. Now I only prayed she'd see what she threw away. I picked up the ring box, still lying on the table. The silver band caught the faint light from the street. "Guess it's just you and me now," I muttered. Tossing it into the drawer, my phone buzzed. A text from her. "Take care of yourself." Ethan, I stared at it for a full minute before deleting it. No reply. No closure. When the message disappeared, I felt something shift inside me. Not relief, not peace. Something sharper. Determination. That night, I opened my laptop again. The same project she mocked me for. The same dream she said would never work. I began rebuilding it line by line. Every keystroke was a promise. Every breath a vow. I would rise, not to win her back, but to prove that love didn't die when she left. It just changed shape. The rain slowed outside, leaving behind the soft rhythm of dripping water. I whispered into the quiet, "You left me empty." "Lena, but emptiness is just room for something new. And, as the city slept, I made my first real vow: I'd never beg again. You're still at it. Ryan's voice came from behind me as I hunched over my laptop, eyes burning from another sleepless night. Yeah, I muttered. The code keeps breaking. Every time I fix one bug, 3 more show up. He dropped a greasy takeout box next to me. Then eat something before you crash. I smirked weakly. I can't afford to crash. Not yet. Ryan sat across the cluttered desk, glancing at the half-empty energy drink beside me. You've been living in this office for 3 weeks, man. You need air, sunlight, maybe even a bed that isn't the floor. I leaned back, rubbing my eyes. Beds are for people who've made it. I'm not there yet, he sighed. You really think this app is going to change everything? It has to, I said quietly. I can't go back to being the guy she pitied. Ryan's tone softened. You still think about her? Every time I open this laptop, I admitted. Every time I remember how she said I'd never make it. He studied me for a moment, then said, So that's your fuel now, her voice? Yeah, I said. Her doubt built my fire. He chuckled. That's darkly poetic, man. Pain teaches faster than comfort, I replied. She left, fine. But I'll turn that pain into profit, Ryan grinned. There's the Ethan I know. The light from the monitor flickered across my face, highlighting the exhaustion beneath my words. I'd been rejected by investors, ignored by users, and laughed at by people who thought a broke guy with a dream was a joke. But every no made me hungrier. You know what hurts the most? I said. She didn't even wait to see what I could become. She decided I was a failure before I even started. Ryan leaned forward. Then make her regret that. That's the plan. He gestured toward the whiteboard covered in messy scribbles. So what's this part? That's the algorithm I'm building, I said, tapping the corner. It learns user behavior in real time. Nobody's done it this clean before. Sounds like something worth losing sleep over, he said with a smile. I looked down at the code again. It's worth losing everything for. Hours blurred into dawn. The hum of computers was the only heartbeat in that empty office. My stomach growled, but I ignored it. Hunger wasn't the enemy, failure was. Ryan broke the silence again. You ever think maybe she left so you'd find this version of yourself? I paused, staring at the line of code, blinking back at me. No, I said. She didn't leave to help me grow. She left to save herself. Growth was my choice. He nodded slowly. That's fair still. It's working. I laughed under my breath. If rock bottom counts as working, then yeah. Ryan smiled. Rock bottom's just the solid ground you rebuild from. Something about that line stuck. I opened a new tab, jotting it down. That's good. Might use it as a tagline someday. He grinned. If you make millions off that, I want royalties. Deal. Another hour passed in silence. Then Ryan said quietly, You know, man, I'm proud of you. I looked up. For what? Losing everything. For refusing to stay lost. I didn't have an answer. I just nodded. By noon, I pushed back from the desk. My eyes stung, my hands trembled, but the app finally compiled without errors. Ryan peered over my shoulder. It worked. It worked. I smiled for the first time in weeks. It finally worked. He laughed, clapping me on the back. All those sleepless nights weren't for nothing. I exhaled slowly. No, they weren't. In that small, dim office, surrounded by empty cups and broken hopes, something inside me shifted. For the first time, I didn't feel like a failure. I felt unstoppable. I looked at Ryan. You know what's funny? What? I don't even want revenge anymore. He raised an eyebrow. No, I said. I just want to build something so real that her leaving looks like the best thing that ever happened to me. Ryan grinned. Now that's the spirit. I closed my laptop and leaned back in my chair. The ache in my body mixing with the smallest hint of satisfaction. I hit bottom, I said softly, almost to myself. But at least I didn't stay there. Ryan looked at me, serious for once. You're not broken, Ethan. You're just in the middle of becoming someone stronger. His words echoed as I shut my eyes, the hum of the computers fading into silence. He was right. I wasn't broken anymore, just unfinished. I read your pitch twice, Mr. Harris said, sliding the folder across his glass desk. You built this entire platform yourself. I nodded, trying to steady my voice. Every line of code, every failed version. I've been at it for 2 years. He leaned back, studying me. You don't look like a quitter. I couldn't afford to be one. He smiled faintly. Good answer. Tell me, Ethan, what makes your app different? I took a deep breath. Everyone's building platforms that chase trends. I built one that predicts them. It learns user habits, adapts in real time. It's not just an app, it's intuition turned into code. He raised an eyebrow. And what do you need from me? Funding, I said, blunt but steady. Not charity, not a lifeline. Just belief, the kind I couldn't buy when I started. For a moment, the room went silent. He tapped his pen against the desk, then said, You've got guts, kid. I like that. My palms were sweating, but I managed to smile. So, is that a yes? He chuckled. It's a maybe, but I'm willing to take the risk. I've seen worse ideas turn gold with the right fire behind them. Fire, I repeated softly. Yeah, I've had plenty of that. When I walked out of that office, contract in hand, the city looked different, brighter, alive. Ryan was waiting by the curb. Well, he asked, eyes wide. I held up the signed document. He's in. Ryan whooped, clapping me on the back. I knew it. Man, I told you all those sleepless nights would pay off. I laughed. I almost didn't believe it myself. He grinned. So, what's next, boss? Don't call me that, I said, shaking my head. Not yet, but 2 months later, I was a boss. My once empty office now buzzed with energy, developers typing furiously, designers debating layouts, coffee cups everywhere. Ryan leaned against the doorframe one morning, watching me pace between desks. You look different, he said. Different how? Like someone who finally knows where he's going. I smiled. Maybe I do. One of the interns called out, Ethan, the server's down again. On it, I said, moving to a station. Restart the system manually, and reroute through the backup node. Trust me, it'll stabilize. Ryan laughed. Look at you, giving orders like a pro. I'm not giving orders, I said. Just showing them how to do what I used to do alone. He nodded slowly. And you're good at it? That night, after everyone left, I stood alone in the office. The hum of machines filled the silence. I remembered the nights I'd slept on that same floor, cold and hungry. Praying for a chance like this, my phone buzzed, a message from Mr. Harris. Great progress. Investors impressed. You've got something special here, I typed back. Thank you for believing when no one else did. He replied almost instantly. Belief is earned, not given. Keep proving it. I stared at the screen, smiling. Yeah, I whispered. I will. Ryan dropped by again later that week, pizza in hand. To celebrate your first round of funding, he said. I grinned. You'll use any excuse to bring pizza. Guilty, he laughed. But seriously, how's it feel? I looked around the room, the team working late, the screens glowing with code. The quiet hum of success building around me. It feels surreal, I said. Like I'm finally catching up to the version of myself I always believed I could be. Ryan nodded. And what about her? Still thinking about Lena, I paused. The question didn't sting anymore. Sometimes, I admitted, but not the way I used to. She's part of the story, not the ending. He smiled. That's growth, man, maybe, I said. Or maybe it's just perspective. He raised his slice. To perspective, to never begging again, I added. Clinking my soda can against his dot as the night stretched on, laughter filled the office. It felt strange, being happy without permission, without needing someone else's validation. When the lights dimmed and Ryan left, I sat by the window, watching the city lights flicker below. 2 years ago, I was nobody, broke, abandoned, humiliated. Now, people looked at me for answers. I whispered to my reflection. You became the man she left you to find. The words didn't sound bitter anymore. Just true. And as I turned off the last light in the office, I made a silent promise. I'll never let emotions cloud my purpose again, sir. There's someone here to see you about the marketing position, Mia. My assistant said through the intercom. Send them in, I replied, eyes still on my screen. I heard the door open, heels clicking softly against the marble floor. That sound, it was the same rhythm I remembered from that rainy afternoon years ago. Good morning, she said, her tone polite, professional. I looked up. Time froze. Lena. She hadn't changed much. Same brown hair, same soft voice. But there was something different in her eyes. Less fire. More fatigue? She smiled faintly, clearly unaware. I'm here to interview for the marketing strategist position. Her words, stopped mid-sentence as our eyes met. I saw it, recognition crashing over her like a wave. Ethan. She breathed out, disbelief coating every syllable. I leaned back, keeping my expression neutral. Mr. Blake. Actually, her lips parted, but no words came. The silence stretched between us, thick with the ghosts of everything unsaid. I didn't know you owned this company, she said finally, her voice trembling slightly. I doubt you would have applied if you did, I said, my tone calm but cold. She looked down, clutching her resume tighter. I didn't mean I'm sure you didn't, I interrupted. Please, have a seat. She hesitated, then sat across from me. The same woman who once told me dreams don't pay bills, now sat in my office. Asking for a job. Your resume looks impressive, I said, flipping through the pages. You've worked for some solid firms. I've moved around a bit, she admitted softly. I see that, I said. A lot of movement. Not much stability. Her eyes lifted to meet mine. People change, Ethan. I'm aware, I said, leaning forward. Some people change because they grow. Others because they run. Her shoulders tensed. Are we really doing this? I smiled faintly. You came here for an interview. I'm just asking questions. She sighed. You've changed. For years we'll do that. I didn't mean to hurt you back then, she said quietly. I let out a soft laugh. You did, though. But I should thank you. You leaving was the best thing that ever happened to me. Her eyes glistened, and she looked away. I was scared, Ethan. We were struggling, and I didn't think you'd ever make it. I know, I said. You made that clear when you walked away. She bit her lip. And now look at you. Now look at me, I repeated, my tone flat. The irony was cruel, almost poetic. Do you hate me? She asked suddenly. I paused, then said, no. I don't waste energy on hate. She nodded slowly. I deserve that. Another silence. I could see her fingers tremble as she adjusted her bag. If this is uncomfortable, I'll withdraw my application. I studied her, the same woman who once told me, love doesn't fill your stomach. Now looking like she hadn't eaten peas in years. No, I said. You're qualified. The company needs talent, not history. Her eyes widened. You'd actually hire me. This isn't personal, I said. At least, not for me. She swallowed hard. Then thank you. I nodded. HR will contact you by tomorrow. That'll be all for now. She stood slowly, gathering her things. Ethan, I looked up. Mr. Blake, I corrected. Her eyes softened, regret flickering there. Right, Mr. Blake. She turned toward the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I always believed you'd do something great. I just didn't think you'd do it without me. I smiled faintly. Neither did I until you left. Her breath caught, but she said nothing. She just nodded once, then walked out the same, clicking heels echoing down the hall. Just like they did 4 years ago, only this time, I didn't chase after her. Ryan stepped in a minute later, holding 2 coffees. Hey, who was that? She looked like she'd seen a ghost. She has, I said quietly, taking the cup. He frowned. Wait, that was her, wasn't it? Yeah. Ryan let out a low whistle. Damn, how'd that feel? I stared at the closed door. Like justice, I said. Cold, quiet justice. He smirked. You gonna hire her? She's good, I said. I don't mix emotion with business. Ryan chuckled. That's a lie, and you know it. Maybe, I said, taking a sip of coffee, but it's one I'm willing to believe. He nodded. You sure you're okay? I met his eyes. I'm better than okay. The past finally caught up, and this time, I didn't flinch. He raised his cup. To never begging again. I clinked mine against his. To never begging again. When he left, I turned back, toward the city skyline. The reflection in the glass wasn't the man she left. It was the man she never believed existed, and for the first time, I didn't feel anger. Just closure. Ryan leaned against my office doorframe, arms crossed, shaking his head. You're really gonna let her work here? Yes, I said, typing another email. He scoffed. Man, that's insane. You remember what she did, right? I remember everything, I replied quietly, but sometimes, revenge looks like mercy. He frowned. You're either the coldest man alive, or the most forgiving. Neither, I said, glancing up. I'm just done bleeding for the past. He sighed. You do you, boss. Just don't let her mess with your head again. She won't, I said. Not this time. When Lena joined the team officially, the office buzzed with curiosity. No one knew our history, of course. To them, she was just another new hire. To me, she was a memory sitting across the table in staff meetings, pretending confidence, avoiding my eyes, forcing smiles that never reached her soul. Good morning, Mr. Blake, she said one day as I entered the conference room. Morning, I replied, eyes on my notes. During the meeting, I watched her struggle to keep her composure as she presented. Her voice wavered slightly when she realized I was listening, really listening. Continue, I said. Expression unreadable. Yes, sir, she murmured. Every word from her mouth sounded practiced, careful, as if she was trying to prove something. Maybe to me, maybe to herself. After the meeting, Ryan caught up with me. You enjoying this little power trip? I smirked. It's not a power trip. It's perspective, he chuckled. Right. And watching her squirm. That's just perspective too. She made choices, I said simply. I'm just letting her live with them. That afternoon, she knocked softly on my office door. Come in, I said, without looking up. She stepped inside, clutching a folder. I wanted to give you the updated campaign draft. Leave it on the desk, I said. She hesitated. Ethan, I mean Mr. Blake, I just wanted to say thank you for giving me a chance. I looked up slowly. You earned it. I don't do favors. Her throat tightened. Still, I appreciate it. I nodded once. You can go. She left, and I could feel the tension hanging in the air long after she was gone. Ryan peeked in again a few minutes later. You're ice, man. Pure ice. Maybe, I said, shutting my laptop, but she melted me once. That's not happening again. Weeks passed. She tried to keep things professional, polite, but the cracks started showing. I saw her staring out windows during breaks, lost in thought. She laughed less. Her confidence faded a little every day. One evening, long after most people had left, I was still reviewing reports when I heard a soft knock. Come in, I said. Lena entered, her voice trembling. Ethan, can we talk? I leaned back, folding my arms. About work, or the past? She hesitated, eyes darting to the floor. Both. I gestured to the chair. Go ahead. She sat down slowly, twisting her hands together. I know this is awkward. I didn't expect to see you again. And working here under you, it's been difficult. I raised an eyebrow. Difficult. She nodded. Every time I look at you, I remember how I left. And I regret it. Every single day. I said nothing. Just watched her, letting the silence do the talking. I thought I was doing the right thing. She continued, her voice breaking. You were struggling, Ethan. I was scared. I didn't believe in your dream because I was too focused on surviving. And how's survival treating you? I asked softly. She looked up, tears welling. It's empty. I leaned forward. You thought leaving me would make you happy. Did it? She shook her head. No. I thought money and stability would fill the void, but it didn't. Turns out, the problem wasn't you. It was me. I studied her face, the sincerity, the exhaustion, the regret. That's a hard thing to admit. It is, she whispered. But seeing you now successful, respected, I realize what I lost. I exhaled slowly. You didn't lose me, Lena. You traded me. Her eyes widened. That's not fair. It's honest, I said. You wanted certainty. I wanted faith. We both got what we deserved. She swallowed hard. I just wanted a better life. So did I said. I just took the long way. Silence filled the room again. Finally, she asked, Do you hate me? No, I said. You don't hate the storm that wakes you up. You thank it eventually. Her lips trembled. Ethan. I stood, signaling the conversation was over. Go home, Lena, it's late. She lingered. You're not the same man. I left. I know, I said quietly. That's the point. As she walked toward the door, she paused. Thank you for hiring me, even if it was just mercy. I looked at her one last time. Mercy isn't for you, Lena. It's for me. She nodded faintly and left, closing the door behind her. Ryan walked in a few minutes later, eyebrow raised. She was crying. I noticed, I said, sitting back down. You finally said what you needed to. Not yet, I said, but Karma's doing fine without me, he chuckled. You think she's learned her lesson? Maybe, I said. Or maybe she's just starting to. Ryan grinned. You're enjoying this. I looked at the empty doorway, then back at him. No, Ryan, I'm remembering it. He nodded slowly. So what now? I smiled faintly. Now? I let time do what I don't have to. When he left, I sat alone in the quiet office. She was somewhere in the building, probably wiping away tears. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel small, I felt free. Ryan leaned over my desk, lowering his voice. You're not going to believe this, man. I looked up from the screen. What? She's divorced, he said. Lena, her husband or ex-husband, went bankrupt. Lost everything. I froze for a second, then forced myself to keep typing. Where'd you hear that? Michelle from accounting. Said Lena mentioned it during lunch. Guess the guy bailed when things got bad. I leaned back in my chair. Figures. When the money's gone, so is the loyalty. Ryan exhaled slowly. You're okay? Yeah, I said. Just remembering, he gave me a look. Don't let pity get mixed in there, Ethan. That's a dangerous blend. I'm not pitying her, I said quietly. I'm just surprised Karma kept its promise. He smirked faintly. Guess it runs on time delay. Days later, I noticed the change in her. Lena used to walk into the office in designer heels, perfume trailing like confidence. Now her shoes were scuffed, her makeup lighter, her laughter forced. She avoided eye contact more than before. During meetings, she stayed quiet, contributing only when asked. The sparkle she once wore like armor was gone. After a late meeting one evening, everyone else had left except her. She stood by the window, the city lights painting her face in soft reflections. Still here? I asked, packing my laptop. She turned, startled. Oh yeah, just finishing some notes. It's late, I said. You should head home. She gave a hollow smile. Home's just a small apartment now. Silence echoes louder in small spaces. I paused. You could have fooled anyone. You always looked fine. That's the trick, she murmured. Looking fine while you're falling apart. I didn't know how to respond. For years, I had dreamed of hearing her admit she wasn't happy. Now that it was happening, it didn't feel like victory, just emptiness. Ethan, she said softly. Do you ever think about what happened? All the time, I said. But not the way you think. She walked closer. Then how? I think about how that day built the man I am now. Pain's a cruel teacher, but it teaches fast. Her voice trembled. I made a mistake. I looked at her, calm. Which one? Leaving you, she said, eyes glistening. You were the only one who truly cared about me. He didn't. I was just convenient. I sighed. You wanted security. I wanted belief. We both got what we chased. She shook her head. You don't understand. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought love couldn't survive poverty. And did it survive wealth? I asked. Her lip quivered. No. The silence between us grew heavy, thicker than the years that had passed. I lost everything, she said, her voice cracking. The house, the car, even the people who called themselves friends. They disappeared the moment the money did. I studied her, the woman who once walked away from me as if I were the mistake. Now she stood in front of me, stripped of pride, searching for pieces of herself in my eyes. Do you hate me? She whispered. I paused, feeling the weight of her words. Hate. That fire had burned out long ago. No, Lena, I said quietly. I just don't feel anything anymore. Her breath hitched. Nothing. Nothing, I repeated. You taught me what it feels like to be empty. I just learned how to live there. She covered her face, tears slipping through her fingers. I wish I could take it all back. You can't, I said. That's the thing about choices. They age like truth. No matter how long you hide from them, they catch up. She nodded slowly, defeated. You really changed, Ethan. I had to, I said. The man you left wouldn't have survived. She looked up, eyes full of regret. And the man you are now? He doesn't chase ghosts, I said. Lena took a shaky breath. I deserved this, didn't I? I didn't answer. She already knew. After a long silence, she whispered, Thank you for not being cruel. I don't need to be, I said. Life already did that for me. Her shoulders slumped as she turned to leave. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Lena. When the door closed behind her, I leaned against my desk and exhaled slowly. The ache in my chest wasn't love or hate. It was the space left behind by both. Ryan texted me a minute later. You still at the office? Yeah, I replied. Just finished something important. He sent back a thumbs up emoji. I put my phone down, staring at the empty room. Maybe forgiveness wasn't about letting someone back in. Maybe it was about finally letting them go without needing them to know you did. That night, for the first time, I didn't dream about her. Ryan leaned against my office doorframe, arms crossed. You know this is dangerous, right? I didn't look up from my laptop. What is whatever this thing is between you two? She's trying to get under your skin again. I shut the laptop slowly. She's not. She's just trying to survive. He laughed. That's what you said last time, right before she walked out of your life. His words stung, but I kept my face neutral. It's different now. I'm not that man anymore. Ryan sighed. Just don't mistake pity for closure. After he left, I stared at the empty chair across from my desk, the same one Lena used to sit in during meetings. Always careful to avoid my eyes. She'd been quieter lately, more focused. Stayed late after everyone left, working through spreadsheets and proposals with a kind of desperate precision. That night, I stepped out of my office and found her still there, staring at her screen. You should go home, I said. She jumped slightly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Just finishing this report. It's almost 10. I know. She smiled faintly, tired but polite. Old habits die hard. I walked closer. You didn't used to work this late, she hesitated. Maybe I didn't value the right things before. There was a pause, long enough for the hum of the fluorescent lights to fill the silence. Lena, I said quietly, you don't have to prove anything to me. Her eyes flicked up. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just trying to be someone better. I could feel the weight in her voice, regret wrapped in exhaustion. You think working yourself to death makes you better? I asked. Maybe not, she murmured. But it helps me forget how much I ruined. Her honesty caught me off guard. For a second, I didn't know how to respond. Look, I finally said, you don't owe me redemption. She shook her head. I owe myself that. But I also owe you an apology. You already said that. I know, she whispered. But I never meant it properly. The pain in her tone made something in me tighten, not anger, just the ache of what used to be. Do you really think sorry can fix the past? I asked softly. No, she admitted. But maybe it can make the present less heavy. I leaned against the edge of her desk, crossing my arms. You think I'm still angry, aren't you? She asked. I was, for a long time. But anger gets tiring after a while. She looked up, her eyes searching mine. Then what's left? Peace, I said. The kind that comes when you finally stop fighting ghosts. She stared at me for a long moment before whispering, I wish I could find that. Maybe you will, I said. You just have to stop running from what you did. She gave a bitter smile. That's easy for you to say. You rebuilt your life. I'm still standing in the wreckage. I studied her face, the exhaustion, the quiet sadness. She wasn't the same woman who'd walked away years ago. People rebuild differently, I said. Some use success, others use pain. And which one did you use? She asked. Both, I replied. For the first time, she laughed softly, like she hadn't in years. You always did know how to sound profound. I learned it from losing everything, I said. Her smile faded. Ethan, if you could go back, would you still choose me? The question hit harder than I expected. I looked away, thinking of all the nights I'd spent working, pushing, building, all because of the void she left behind. No, I said finally, because losing you made me find myself. The silence that followed was deep, the kind that carries truth in its weight. Her lips trembled, but no words came out. She just nodded slowly, eyes glassy. I stood up, straightened my jacket. You should go home, Lena. She rose to, voice breaking slightly. I really am sorry, Ethan. I know. As she walked toward the door, she paused. You really don't feel anything anymore, do you? I thought for a moment. I feel gratitude, I said. For what your leaving taught me. She swallowed hard, turned away, and left without another word. I watched her go, not with bitterness, not with longing. Just quiet acceptance. Ryan popped his head back in a few minutes later. Everything good. I nodded. Better than before, he smirked. So, you finally let it go. Yeah, I said, closing my laptop. Some things don't need revenge. They just need peace. He chuckled. You've changed, man. I had too, I said. That's the only way to make losing worth something. When he left, I leaned back in my chair and stared out the window, the city lights flickering like promises kept too late. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the need to prove anything. Not to her, not to anyone. Just to myself. When I walked into the office that morning, something felt still, too still. Her desk was empty. The mug she always used, gone. No files, no papers. No faint trace of her perfume that used to hang in the air. Then I saw it, a plain white envelope sitting neatly on my desk. My name written in her careful handwriting. I stared at it for a moment before sitting down. My fingers hesitated, but eventually I opened it. You became everything I dreamed of. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to believe in you. That was it. No explanations, no goodbyes, no requests for forgiveness. Just those 2 lines, simple, final. I folded the letter carefully and placed it in the drawer beside the contract she once begged me to sign. Years ago, the one I couldn't afford then. Funny how life balances things. Ryan knocked on the glass wall of my office. Hey, you're okay? I nodded. Yeah, she's gone. He raised an eyebrow. Gone, as in... She resigned. He whistled softly. Didn't see that coming. You talk to her? No, want to. I looked out the window. Not really. Ryan leaned against the doorframe. Man, you're a mystery. You spend months working beside her, and now that she's leaving, you're just... calm. I smiled faintly. That's the point, isn't it? To get to the place where calm replaces chaos, he shrugged. Maybe. I just hope you don't regret not saying anything. I already said everything that needed to be said, I replied. Ryan gave a small nod. Guess this is it, huh? Yeah, this is it. After he left, I sat in silence for a while. The office felt different, lighter, quieter. For months, her presence had been like an echo from another life. Now, even that echo was gone. By evening, the city outside had started to glow. Streetlights flickered on, the skyline pulsing with energy. I walked to the window and leaned against the glass, watching people move like currents below. It used to make me feel small, like I was lost in a world too big for my dreams. But tonight, the view didn't make me feel anything except peace. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Thank you for being kind, even when I didn't deserve it. I read it once, then twice, before setting the phone down. No reply. Some goodbyes don't need words. I took a deep breath, letting the moment settle. Every memory, every fight, every apology, every sleepless night felt like distant noise. Now I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad, just done, I whispered to the reflection, staring back at me in the glass. Some people leave to teach you how to stand alone, and for the first time in years, I understood what that really meant. I didn't lose her. I just found myself. I turned off the lights, picked up my coat, and walked out of the office. No lingering glances. No second thoughts. Just quiet steps toward the elevator. Toward whatever came next. As the doors closed, I caught one last glimpse of the city lights behind me, the same city that once watched me fall apart. This time, I wasn't broken, I was free. The last message from her sat on my screen for hours. I didn't open it right away. Just stared at the notification, that familiar name glowing faintly like an old wound that refused to close. Ryan walked in, saw the look on my face, and sighed. Still holding on. I leaned back in my chair, not holding on, just deciding how to end it properly. Delete it, he said bluntly. You've done your part. Don't let her rent space in your head for free. I'm not angry anymore, I murmured. Just tired. He crossed his arms. Then be tired enough to let go. I looked at my phone again. The message preview read, I hope you're okay. I chuckled softly. She hopes I'm okay. Ryan tilted his head. Are you? Yeah, I said after a pause. For the first time, I actually am. He smiled faintly. Then prove it. I nodded, unlocking my phone. My thumb hovered over her name, Lena. For years, that name had been the center of my universe. The reason I lost sleep. The reason I fought harder. The reason I became who I am, but tonight, it was just a name. I opened our chat. The screen filled with years of words. Love, pain, apologies, silence. I scrolled up, watching the conversation fade from warmth to ice. Crazy how a whole story can fit into a chat window. I said quietly. Ryan chuckled. Yeah, and you keep rereading the last chapter, hoping it'll change. He was right. It never would. I took a deep breath. You know, blocking someone used to feel cruel. Like cutting off air. But now, it feels like peace. He smirked. Then breathe, man. I hit block contact. A small confirmation popped up. Are you sure? I pressed yes. And just like that, the weight lifted. No vibration. No chance of another message. No more wondering if she'd ever regret it. Ryan clapped me on the shoulder. That's it. That's it, he grinned. Proud of you, man. I smiled faintly. Took me long enough. He started walking toward the door. You coming to dinner? In a minute, I said. When he left, I leaned back and closed my eyes. The office was quiet except for the hum of the city outside. I thought about all the nights I'd spent trying to rewrite the past in my head, imagining different endings. Better versions of us. But there was no us anymore. Just me. I opened my drawer and pulled out her resignation letter. The one I'd kept without knowing why. I unfolded it one last time. You became everything I dreamed of. I smiled. And you became the lesson I needed. I tore the letter neatly in half, then again, until it was nothing but small white scraps on the desk. The sound was soft, almost satisfying. I whispered to the pieces. You don't own me anymore. The night sky stretched across the window, dark and endless. I could see my reflection, the same eyes, the same face, but not the same man. I wasn't the version of myself who begged her to stay. I wasn't the man who built an empire to prove something. I was just me, and for once, that was enough. I picked up my phone again, just to make sure. Her name was gone. No calls, no messages, no trace. I laughed quietly. You know what's funny? I said out loud. She blocked me first, but I was the one who truly let go. I stood, turned off the lights, and walked out. Outside, the city lights flickered like small reminders that life keeps moving, no matter who leaves, who breaks, or who learns to stand again. Tonight wasn't an ending, it was freedom.